PC12 and a co-leader for PC15. And I'm really excited what in store for.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for writing the proposal and coming here for the interview. We really enjoyed reading it, and I think we saw that you really thought about the project. So yeah, we'll try to keep the interview in like under an hour or so that it's not too long. And so this will be like a discussion. So feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Yeah. So can you begin by explaining to us a little bit about your project in like 2 or 3 minutes?
Are we doing it individually or?
You guys can. It shouldn't be individually. It should be like one of you can talk, and then if the other one wants to add up some stuff, then you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will go first. The project that we want to start is basically focused on education, slum children, and underprivileged children who make their living by doing business on the street or being in scavengers. And we would like to provide them with inspiration that they can they actually can use it to further their vision as a student. I think because most of them are gathered by some organization and they live and study together under the support of those organizations, and we would like to provide them more than just educations and basic needs, because we realize that inspiration is more than is something that they might lack up, and that is something that might be the key for them to unlock their potential and dream more. So that's why we came up with the theme inspiration, but also we include a lot of mini theme, like for leadership we plan to actually provide them with personal development, both our members and those children, and at the same time we encourage them to be a future leader. And for service, when we reach out, we also hope that we can listen to their stories, because we believe that everyone have the story, and we love to listen to them and actually can share our story to them as well, so that we can find the sense of belonging. Another part of service reach out, we wish to actually inspire them to see the world in a way far than their what they can see right now, because we believe that their future will not limit in just that organization. So this can be a part of their um, their passions to achieve what they want. And last but not least, we want to strengthen the education system, be a part of it, and at the same time, we want to add value to education system in Cambodia, as well as volunteerism.
Yeah, just to add up a bit on that, is that as our theme is inspiration, so we have a motto which is to inspire and be inspired. So not only we hope that it would like our program would be beneficial for the slum children, the slum inspiration, but also the mentors and the mentees involved, especially with our leadership and service curriculum.
Hey San, whenever you don't speak, can you turn like mute yourself, so it's not as like yeah, do that.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, is there any way you can put on a headset? Because There's a lot of background noises.
Oh, I think that's me.
No, not you. I think it's coming from San. Oh, I think it's fine now. Sorry. Yeah.
So it's Liam? Okay.
So do you guys have any question for them?
Yeah, go ahead and ask.
Yeah. Wait, okay, so I have a question. So like your project is pretty similar to PC15, in which Sakata and Satira led. It's like education and underprivileged children in terms of the ideas. And I think your structure, the way you plan to execute the project is kind of similar to like your experience in our project. So I want you guys to talk about like what are like the differences between this project and in terms of idea, like how is it different than the past project, or are they different? They don't have to. And just the way the structure of the project, like how are you improving from your experience in our project, or like what are you keeping the same? Like just talk about those a little bit.
Okay. San, do you want me to talk about it?
Oh, Sun is gone.
Oh, yeah, so I'll just talk about it. Actually, for our project, we continue, like, apart from having like carry on with the idea of slum children and education from PC15, we also continue what some of the stuff that we did in PV15. So we carry on the mentor and mentee system. So because back then we had it 1-to-1, and there were like successful parts, and there were also like parts that didn't go really well. So we took that into consideration, and we cut down the number of the team members. That's one thing. The other thing is that instead of it's 1-to-1, we have the so it's gonna be like 1-to-2, 2-to-1. So that's like one mentor and two mentees. In addition to that, we have like better sort of more structure, um like what is it, co-mentoring system, in which like the mentees will like be each other's mentor, not really mentor, but more like providing each other support. So that's one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. So I
San,
think, yeah.
San, so my question. Oh, wait, do you have other things to add? If not, then I'll repeat the question to San so he can help you.
Okay, sure.
So San, I just asked a question, and my question was that how is this project different from like PC15, which they work with education and slum children also. So I was asking Jin, what are the differences, what are the similarity between this project and past projects, so like our project and like PC15 in terms of idea and execution, like the structure and the idea, how are they, like what are some different?
When you say our project, it means PV15, right? PV15.
Yeah. Which else? Which else?
Yeah. So yes, I talked about the mentorship. We want to add like the joint leadership.
Yeah. So Kelly was talking about the mentorship, and because we can see that there was some problem between leadership teams and service team in terms of relation and connections. So we want to bring the gap together by helping them to work together. That is also the reason why we cut down the numbers of mentors as well. By doing this, in the first stage, we will let them work separately in order to work efficiently, because most of them will be from abroad, and we believe it might be a bit hard to conduct big meetings with many people, even it's 14, but it's still considered big. for both, so we separate them temporarily. When the second stage come, when we all are on ground, then two teams will merge together and work in the same thing, which means that leadership and service, there will be no leadership or service team, but every mentor will work on both leadership and service. So both of them will sit down together and plan together. Yep.
Okay. So one more thing is that well because like there were a lot of feedback last like as because we were mentors and we talked a lot to the mentees, and there were feedbacks on like how the mentors had a lot to do but the mentees didn't, and most of the time like they just spend their time like wandering around. So in this project we hope that, well, we aim for everyone to like like active, like they actively participate in the project. Therefore we added in, I think, one more mentee challenge, which is the last event, the charity event. And so we also added in the mini event, which is Make Bring Home. And so it's a way to like engage the members in the more active role. So yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I can ask my question then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Masha, go ahead, and I can go after you.
Okay. So you guys are talking about having the leadership team and service team. So I was just wondering, as the project leaders, as the two project leaders, what will your roles be? Like, how are you planning to separate the tasks between the two of you? Sorry, is someone talking? I can't hear. Hello?
Hello.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, okay. My question was, you guys were talking about having two teams, like the leadership team and service team, before you were on the ground. So I was just wondering, as the two project leaders, how are you guys planning to separate your tasks? What will your roles be? Like, is one of you gonna be taking care of the leadership and then another taking care of the service team, or yeah, what are your plans?
Um,
Oh,
you mean
um,
like do you mean like like before the project or on the
Yeah,
ground?
before the well, both, but I guess before the project, because you said you will have two separate teams, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So, Kerry, I would go first.
mm,
Yeah. Basically, we haven't talked much about that, but we have take it into our considerations, and that I think we come out with the result that I will work a lot on ground. I am the one who on ground, so I will take care of service in terms of contacting partners, go on visit site, and recruit most of the core members, and most likely to deal with logistic stuff. While Katie will have to plan for leadership and curriculum for both service and leadership, because we plan to have both workshop for both leadership and service. Yeah, Katie.
yeah. So as in before the project, I guess it would me like in Chan would do more of the stuff that have to do with like contacting the local partners and like the stuff that have to do with in Cambodia, while I would just like take over things that have to be done online. But during on the ground, I think it's pretty dynamic how we divide our tasks and set our goals. Because it's gonna be a joint leadership and service team meeting, so we like both of us gonna be there, and I guess we're gonna just like um take over or like yeah take over a role and oversee how the curriculum goes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So what I have to ask, I just want to dial things back a little bit and ask you guys how you come up with the organization and the structure and the idea behind the project, and more specifically, how did you come up with the root of the problem, which you seem to suggest to be the lack of inspiration in the kids that are working or that are being helped by the organization?
Okay. I think this has to be deal with Whitehouse.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. Yeah. San, do you want to go over it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So as a student and as a as a citizen who used to go through the poverty stage, I believe that inspiration should be something that uh, that should be kept in everyone's mind, because that is the first thing that you have in order to fight for anything. Because whenever you have inspiration, no matter what stage you are, what level you are, I believe this is something that you have as a encouragement for you to fight, to go to the next level. So the problem was with the core problem for the project was that many students receive education system, I believe, because according to the report, um, um, more than like more than 90% of citizens in Cambodia have are educated, even not to university level, but most of them are educated. They can read and write. But the thing is that they don't want to go further, and some of them abandon their education and go to live on the street. As I can see every single day that children run around in Phnom Penh city in traffic light, around traffic light, and beg for money. Some of them sell flowers, and some of them actually hold dusters and beg for money after they clean people's vehicle. And actually, there was one day when I asked them, "Why did you do this? Why don't you go to school?" Some one or two of them come to me and say, "Why do you have to go to school when I can make $20 a day on the street?" It shocked me a little bit, but then I came to realize that their parents actually trained them to be that way, and they didn't give value to education because they believe that they need something to eat first. But in fact, I believe this is not something that they need, because parents do not work at all. They actually sit around and wait for the children. Some of them wait for the children to actually bring them money. Um, and that's one thing. And then I come to realize that my past, I kind of walk in a different path, as my mother take me in a way that I don't. I need to take education seriously. Uh, um, but at the same time, when we move from poor, let's say lower class to middle class, I kind of stuck in the middle. So I have friends as a rich, and have friends as lower class as well. So when I stay in the middle, I can see the how big it is, the gap between the poor and the rich, and I believe education is the only key to bring the gap closer. But education alone is not it's not enough, because everyone study, and everyone can go to school, because high school in no public school in Cambodia is free for everyone. But the thing is that they don't know why they should study, um, as the I mean They don't know why they should study because as like the answer from the children on the street told me that they can make money on the street. Why they have to go to school and study and at the end they don't know what to do. So this here is come the inspiration that could make the different situation.
Hello? You got disconnected?
Oh, that's sad.
Jin, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. Well, San was the one who suggested like the very first idea, and I was quite touched by his story. I think he hasn't finished it yet, but he has story about like why he chose, more specifically like why he chose the theme as inspiration. Um, so um, and because when I look at it, I think that the issue that they have in Cambodia is pretty similar to like the educational issues or like the struggles that we have in Vietnam as well, especially with how families don't really give a lot of what is it like pay a lot of attention and high like priority for education. So I thought that it would be like Sunet would be the best platform for me to like carry out this idea. And if this works successfully, then later I can return and like bring it back to Vietnam and, and make it work for the kids here as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. I guess I have a question regarding sustainability.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess one of the most important thing about Silnet project is that we try our best to make sure that projects sustain in the long run. So I want to ask you guys like how do you guys like us like co-leaders define what sustainability is and how do you see a project sustain in the long run?
Okay. Mm, so your question was how do we define sustainability?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, So, I guess for me, sustainability is not only just carry on and continue like what the previous projects have done, but also like the impact that we were able to what is it give to our members. Like in our project in PV15, recently there's a story about like there's this mentee that we work on and before the project like I think like yeah this year he was a really shy kid and really like he's like he doesn't even like want to speak up and like even during our workshop and stuff. I think there was one time where he cried and everyone just like had to sit him. So but just recently we found out that he got accepted to one of like the best colleges um in Singapore. And so yeah, and like all the mentors were just like, yeah, like so happy. So I think that's for me how I define as sustainability. Yeah, like how we were able to give impact and like help with these children to have like a better life, especially with their like personal growth. So yeah. Mm.
Where is that? Yeah, thank you for that answer.
Yeah, I I have a follow-up question. I don't think I heard the answer. Maybe I missed it, but how do you see like your project sustain in the long run? And I don't think I heard the answer.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Um, um, yeah, I think we did mention it in one of yeah somewhere else in our proposal. One we proposed.
I'm sorry, I really can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Is it possible to have put like in a headset or
Oh,
with like
I think
close?
you could benefit from speaking a little bit louder because I think you're really far from the microphone.
Yeah, I can't hear. I'm sorry.
okay, sure. Oh, sorry, guys. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
little bit better. Yeah.
Okay. Also, yeah, to answer your question, how do we sustain the project in the long run? We thought about this. Yeah, and one of the ideas that we thought was that to bring them, because after the post, like after the mentoring, I think the kids are like the mentees and mentors are automatically, um, like they will be in like the student club of their own region. So what we thought of was that every year or like monthly, weekly, yearly, something along the line, the kids are gonna go back to the local community. So like um like the community of the slum children, and like just to interact and like say hi, like befriending, yeah, having that kind of like befriending thing going on, just to like keep it going in the long run.
Okay. Um.
I I have something to add to
Okay.
what Katie. Yeah, she mentioned that mentee will go back to mentee and mentor will go back to the organization to actually contact with them and see what we can help them further after the project, and at the same time we encourage them to be a part of CNET Club Cambodia and CNET Club Vietnam, both of the club, because locally, both of the club have projects that allows mentees and mentor to actually step up and help and have to be the leader of the project. There will be a system to support them back uh, uh, under the supervisions of CNF Cambodia, and we hope that we can bring the gap together between the no I mean after the project we will be able to keep track on both mentee and mentor if they be able to stay in Singapore, Cambodia.
Okay.
Yep. And along the way during the project, another thing during the project, we mentioned about the technique that we want to close the gap between leadership team and service. That's also one of the strategy to sustain our project, as we believe that as they work closely and spend more time with each other, they more likely to become friends, and yeah, friendship will remain longer, of course. Yep.
Okay. Um.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess to add up on your comments again, just to make sure that I have everything clear. So you mentioned that after the project, uh, all the mentees will join Silnet Club Cambodia or Silnet Club Vietnam, depending on
Vietnam.
what region they're from. And
Yes.
how do you ensure that that's the case after the end of the project?
Normally, the president of Singapore, Cambodia will ask for a list of mentees from each of every project leaders, and then they will send email or even call them to confirm their role. Oh no, confirm their participation in the club, and the Singapore, Cambodia usually have monthly, no, not monthly, but 3 months meeting, or we can say workshop, to actually bring them together and discuss what they can do and what project that anyone in the club could think of, and they will find someone to support, or find any project leader to lead. um, this is a good trend that we are doing right now, and as a member of Synacle Cambodia, and I believe that most of them will join it, because this is a strong network, and like most of the mentee, not most but all of the mentee from PV15 already be a part of the Synacle Cambodia, and actually 4 of them are running local projects. Yep.
Comment
Regarding sorry. Oh, yeah.
Okay, just
Uh,
go on.
You can go ahead. San, you can go ahead. It's fine.
Yeah, and 4 of them actually running 2 local projects regarding autism, to spread
Mm-hmm.
awareness of autism, and
Mm-hmm.
actually and another project is Bike for Change.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to raise fund for underprivileged people. Oh, another one is 100 real projects. So
Okay.
three projects at the same time this
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
Okay. What I hear is a lot of participation from the Cambodian part, because you mentioned that there's gonna be like a lot of like involvement with them like from the beginning, because that's what I assume, right? Or is it only after the project that they will be involved with Sync Up Cambodia, or are they going to be a part of this project as well?
So
How does the structure work?
oh, sorry, just
I'm sorry.
finish your question.
Sorry, Katie, did you get that, or do you
Um,
need to clarify?
Asking you, so just finish your question first.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat like what I said again, because I think there was some sort of internet connection.
Yeah.
So I heard a lot of like involvement from Senior Club Cambodia in terms of like making sure that the mentees stay a part of SealNet after the end of the project and so on. So I was wondering, are you planning to get Senior Club Cambodia to be involved since the beginning of the project? And if so, like how are you gonna ensure that like how are you going to build the structure around like Senior Club Cambodia with the members of your project and the mentees, and how do you make sure that everything runs smoothly?
Yeah,
uh,
as Sunet Club is we put Sunet Club as one of local partner. So what it means is that they gonna help us with especially in terms of like the logistic. So that's gonna so I wouldn't say like a lot of involvement, but there'll be like definitely some involvement from the Sunet Club Cambodia side. Um and uh and during our project, because we have 2 events, so the mini event, which is the Phnom Penh home, and also the charity event. So that I would say that we kind of rely on Tunet Club Cambodia in terms of like the human like the number of like the promotion and like on other like subdivision parts. So yeah, but I won't say it's like a lot of involvement, and it would mostly just be like through like on logistics. So Sam, you wanna add anything?
So just like Katie said, won't be a lot of involvement from Sinaka Cambodia, but we hope to gain their support in terms of logistics. And mostly, I believe that Sinaka Cambodia is another platform, like a sub-platform beside CNET International, because along the way, to be honest, as I starting to write the proposal with Katie, I gain a lot of support in terms of data, in terms of previous local president who used to lead project, and I get a lot of advice from them, and I think this is there is no wrong to take advantage from what we have locally, and that is what add up to our sustainabilities as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for your answer.
So like you guys talk about the core, like you're gonna do a charity event at the end. And I was wondering, and you say that the mentor will set up like the core structure of the charity event, and the mentee will like run it. So I was wondering, what is the core structure of the charity event? Like, what does it look like?
So basically, core structure is something that a mentee can follow. It means that they will not come up. They will not have to. A mentee will not have to come up with the ideas or where to go or what to do it. They will receive support in terms of legal documents, proposal, um, uh, and of course we will provide them the skills of how to lead project in our leadership workshop, we will include that, and mentee will be able to run project in terms of like we will have a theme for them to run, and we will have our own challenge for each of every mentee to actually challenge themselves. We will see on that, and yeah, that's pretty much of it. This is the structure.
Yeah, just to add on, one of the things why we call it charity event instead of giving it a name is that we want like all the members to like discuss about like after interacting with the kids, after finding out like what are they capable of, and so because we believe that like the project is like not only by us but also by the mentees and is created by them. So that's why so yeah, the core structure is gonna be done by the mentor just to like give like a very like foundation support for the mentees to carry out their roles as like the main organizers, but the mentors are gonna be like virtual organizers, so they just not only like being volunteers and supporters, but they also help with like how they organize event in terms of as being their mentors.
Okay.
Okay, I have a little bit more to add on. Because we have seen the problems of some problem that some mentee from PV15 did not feel belong or feel like the project or everything in the project Vietnam Saigon was were theirs at all. So we want to promote the sense of belonging to each of every members of the of the project. So that's why we come up with the charity event for and mentee challenge for them to actually get involved and actually produce something of their own.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have one quick question about the mini projects, especially the Make Phnom Penh Home. You guys were saying that the project will be cooking and delivering food together to the homeless people.
Yes.
And you said that the purpose is so that the slum children can feel empowered by education, that they can help their own community. So I was just wondering, how is this related to education? Because you guys are doing cooking. So I was just wondering, like, what's your reasoning behind this? Why are you doing like cooking instead of something else related to education or something?
So the cooking event, which is the next Phnom Home, at first we wanted to have it as like a bonding activity or like a bonding opportunity for the slum children and our members to get a chance to like interact. But later on we thought that it would be a lot of because it's gonna happen after the first week, and by then we would have like a lot of workshop, like not a lot, but probably like some workshop on our service outreach, which is one of our theme was um, um, the meaning of education. So what we aim to do was that by well, what we sort of envision is that by that time, by the time that we have the next number home, like the kids will have like some sort of ideas about like okay, what is the education is like, and like the stuff that like what makes education valuable to them. So we thought that just have like having the slum children to participate in the cooking event and like um to deliver food to like their own local community. We think that it'll be a way for them to realize that okay, these like to sort of like to look at well, what they see, well, what we thought was that what they see other people like our mentors and mentees like being able to do things like this or like that. Once they look at that, they will sort of it's sort of a way like empowerment for them to think like, okay, if I am able to achieve like a certain have like a certain degree of education, I might be able to come back and contribute to my community. So yeah, so that's what we think. So it doesn't really like the cooking event. It does, at first it doesn't sound really connected to like education, but what we hope is that like for the interaction to occur, and then through that the slum children will be able to like sort of feel empowered, especially like through helping their own communities.
Okay.
Just to add on, I think that doing this mini project is just like producing something that they have learned. So this can benefit to both mentee and mentor to actually see the results after what after they have learned something. The result might not be something that relate to the education at all, but this is something to do with inspiration because at the end of the day, after we learn something, we want to produce something, no matter what. So this could be a good chance to inspire them to do more in terms of volunteer to contribute to society back, or maybe they wonder what can they do. So can set us an example for mentees and also those slum children for them to set an impact and like what they're going to do after they graduate and what they should do as a citizens of Cambodia while the country needs the help of volunteers. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys have any other questions? Because I think we're running out of time and I have like just one final question to ask.
Yeah, you can ask your question.
Okay. So in the proposal you mentioned that you're gonna do fundraising through members and like the co-leaders, but you didn't really explicitly state like what are your initiatives, like what are you planning to do to get those funds? And I was wondering if you have thought about it and like what steps do you want to take in order to get the $5,000 budget or 10,000, sorry, whatever the cost is, $8,500.
So yeah. Oh, okay. I'll start this. We thought of the very first initiative, and I think we put the Cambodian Children Fund and the Friends International. So those will be like the two first funding source that we will look at, and hopefully like get some money out of it. Um, Alongside like I will like since I'm like currently I'm living in the UK, so I'll be like actively like looking for funding source that is available in the UK. Um, for like Southeast Asian countries. And San on his side will also like look for like funding sources that will be able to like support us in terms of financial needs. So yeah, so the first initiative I think is that we look at like looking at the funding grants and like yeah like to seek support from them. Do you wanna add?
Okay.
Yeah, just to add on, because Cambodia is a developing country, and Cambodia is actually a hot target for the world to actually come and help. And currently, the two listed fundraising target that that we put in the proposal are actually the potential part. Actually, can be our potential partner to help out during the project, because they're currently working with slum children, especially Cambodian Children Fund. They actually work closely with them, and they have a lot of fun from Hollywood community, as I know, and as they reject because back then we wanted to contact them to be our partner, and then we can reach out to the community because there they have a bigger slum community, and most of the students do not get access to education. But when children Cambodian Children Fund come, most of them can get education, and they get fund, and they actually state that they do not they don't allow tourists to visit because they are afraid that they don't love the trends of using children as a tourist tourism I don't know what they call, but something that they use children to attract tourists and get money from it, but they don't want that. So it means that this is a good sample for us to follow, and we hopefully not to get only fund from them, but also most of that advice to actually sustain our vision in the future. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if we don't have any question, the floor is open for you to ask us any question you want.
Okay. Carrie,
As yeah,
well, you like to go first.
I'm just wondering, you know, like as past project leaders, how do you see a project could be improved better in terms of like efficiency and yeah, and making sure ensuring that the team works as one. Hello.
Yeah. I'm thinking. Sakata, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'm thinking over like the process and everything.
I guess something I think could be improved. Like, well, this is speaking from personal experience. It's not like I don't know if your project will run into this problem, but like think of like the risk associated with your initiative. So like you want the member to, you know, like on the ground, you talk about how you want the member to be together and kind of plan the service and leadership curriculum together. Well, like what are the associated risks or like challenge that come along with that? Because like if you improve something from your experience, it doesn't necessarily translate into a better experience for your member. It's just going to be maybe a different experience for your member. So like you can encounter like challenge that we didn't encounter, but just like think strategically about those challenge and have plan to address them. So that when they come, like you're not gonna freak out and you're not gonna like don't know what to do. So don't assume that when you improve from something, from your experience, that it's gonna translate into like something better for your member. Because every project have its need, and every project have different dynamic, set of people, different challenge, logistically speaking, or anything. So like the thing that you think will improve may not necessarily do so. So yeah, think strategically about that.
Thank you.
Sakata, you have anything to say?
I'm thinking.
In the meantime, you can like ask another question when he's thinking. San, you have any question for us?
Yeah, yes, I do. It's something to do with fundraising. Even though we have our strategies, our targets, and how we're going to raise money, but still, this is the big concern, and we actually address it in our proposal gap. And I wonder, as a previous project leader, how are you going? No, what were the obstacles for all of you to actually get enough fund for that? And what happened when you cannot get enough fund? It less than enough. And what are the experience and what you would like to suggest?
Well, speaking from my like personal experiences, like fundraising was definitely one of the hardest like challenges that we face when leading PC15, and I think what really happened that like despite the fact that you know it's hard and everything, but you really like as a co-leader, you really do have to be positive most of the time, and you really do have to encourage your team members to keep fundraising despite the fact that like a lot of them are going to think like, oh, nobody's gonna give me money and so on. But the thing is, you'd be surprised about who would give you your money to, and and stuff, because once you reach out to people on social media, like your friends, your family, like you can actually like get a lot of support, or like the opposite. So it really depends, and it is really something that you cannot like, you know, like 100% rely on. But at the same time, like past projects have been like successful in terms of fundraising, because they reach out to like grants, and they wrote like grant proposal, and they were accepted, and they were granted $3,000, $4,000, and those were really helpful. And I think if you're short in terms of funds, then I think you do really need to address uh, your logistics, and you really need to change certain stuff that you plan beforehand, and you really do need to cut down your budget if it comes to that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add something quickly. So, Katie, you were studying in the UK, right? And I think at least some of your project members will probably be from the US or like abroad. And there are a lot of fellowships and grants from like universities usually in the US, at least that's what I know. Like from MIT alone, there are a lot of grants for service projects that give us like $5,000 or something. And one thing that I've seen from like past SILNet projects, I feel like people don't really use that as much. And I think you guys should think about it. Try to, usually like the deadline is early, kind of early, I guess, early in the spring. So like it'll be really good if you can get one of those grants, because it can really help you.
And another thing is the big source of money will come from like individual fundraising. And I think one big thing as project leader you guys can do to ensure that the money that you expect from the member will actually come is setting clear expectation with your member, and just clear like an achievable amount of money depending on where they are. Like in our project it's only 350, but in past project it's like 500. So it's really up to you to set that amount, but just be really not harsh, but be just held your member really accountable for their, because when they enter the project, that's one of the requirement is to fundraise for the project. And if you are project leader, you should really enforce. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. So yeah, so like as project leader, just how your member really accountable, set clear expectation, remind them consistently why they are like the fundraising amount is not only the fundraising amount, it's like why, like one of the requirement of when they enter the project. So just like consistently remind them of these connect the responsibility to higher purpose for the members to really make sure that you get that source of money.
Do you guys have more questions?
Yeah. Trời ơi, sao về nhanh quá vậy?
Well, so I think previously, I think Lim mentioned something about how previous project was the required amount for fundraising for previous project was 500, and then for his project he changed it to 350. So I'm just wondering like how does that and like what was it for the PC16? Was it
$300.
$300?
Okay, I have to address that. Like, what I regret not doing is that not making it a requirement, because I think uh uh some people, like a lot of people who are actually really dedicated will go through and like try to push and like get past the limit. But at the same time, there are some people who did not fundraise, who would not fundraise at all, despite the fact that you try to push them and you try to like guilt trip them. So I think what would work and what would be reasonable is that like you make it a requirement, and if they don't make raise enough, uh, if they don't raise enough past like the limit, the stated limit, then I think they have to pay it out of their own pocket, unless they have like a legitimate reason that that like limit them from raising like the threshold amount. So I think at the end of the application, you need to ensure that if you want to join part in terms of fundraising, because nobody's gonna pay for your project and nobody's gonna pay for your food if you don't like help and like contribute. And I think that would really work. And I think that's definitely one of the things that I regret not doing.
Thank you. So you know how you guys like cut down the amount of the fundraising? Yeah. So how did that work? Like, was it effective? Like eventually? Yeah.
I think mostly it really depends on you, like how much, like your budget, like how are you recruiting, how much do you think you and your co-leaders are going to fundraise in addition to your team members. So it is really like your own estimation, but try to make it reasonable because you don't want to limit it to $1,000 for each person because that doesn't really make sense. You really do need to take into account, okay, if they're coming for 2 weeks, then this is how much it's going to cost per person and stuff like that.
The cut down happened just like, I think it happened in PV14 where like in the past it was CONET Central who set the limit as 500, but then in PV14 like the project leader, because they were doing the project in Vietnam and the prices was not that bad, so they decided to cut it down, and from then on I think project leader just set their own budget in terms of how much each member should fundraise. So that's how it got cut down. And I think it worked out pretty well. Like, I mean, depend on where the member are from too. If they are from Southeast Asia, that might be a little difficult to fundraise $500. So I think 350 is pretty reasonable, and like most of my members were able to achieve that. Yeah.
And it's also really important to kind of sort of like form a question that addresses their background, especially like not like explicitly address it, but like sort of like give you a sense of like, okay, I want to have a team that's diverse in terms of not just like where they come from, but also like their social economic status, so that like you build like.
Where is he?
I think he's disconnected.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Do you guys have any other question?
Dan, do you have any other questions?
You don't have to. Like, don't feel pressure to.
Yeah, you can definitely email us or like message us.
Yeah, like you.
Oh yeah, I have a question. When is the result gonna be out?
Next week.
Oh,
Sometime next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when will the retreat start?
The retreat will be in January 8 to 11 in Cambodia.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, may I confirm? Is it in Phnom Penh or Siem Reap?
It's in Phnom Penh.
Oh, I see. Good.
Are you guys both free on that weekend?
I have a bit of difficulty because I have an exam like on the Monday, on one of the day that retreat happens. So
Wait, will you be in the UK or will you be?
so I think the retreat starts from the 9th of January, is it? Or the 8th?
8.
Yeah, I have exam on the 11th. Yeah, I think I'm flying back to UK on the 9th, and then I will have an exam on the 11th. So I probably have to find a way to sort that out. But it's okay. It should be okay.
So your school will start on the 11th?
Yeah, I will have an exam on that day.
So I think I wonder if it's okay if Carrie will be late, like she will come to join the retreat after her exam. Is it okay?
It will be over by then, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but we can work that out later.
Yeah. Thank
Any
you.
other question? If not, we can end this thing. Okay, well, thank you, you guys, so much for showing up. I really enjoy hearing the both of you. Again, any last word for them, Sakata and Marsha?
Oh, please tell us like any feedback you have. That would be really grateful.
Oh, feedback.
I have anything or any feedback to let you guys know. Okay, all right. Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you
If
so
we,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.